It is a huge honor today to be podcast interviewing Sandra Senzon, RDH, independent consultant, who has I always know her as the Tooth Fairy. How do I know you as a Tooth Fairy? And you got to talk about the big news. Why did Shark Tank contact you?
Why did they? I have a product line which is all natural, comes from the flower of a green tea plant. And I created 5 different products. So I sent out I've been watching the show. I happen to love the show. And I'm being creative and innovative. I put this product line together. I didn't send them the product, but I sent the application in. I got a call back yesterday saying they want to interview me. They interviewed me for about 10 minutes. And they said I made the next level. Now I have to send a video with the product and 30 pages of more application filled. And then I make it on, which is real exciting.
That is so talk about your company. It's Camellia Products?
Right.
When did you start that? When did you start that?
About 10 years ago.
And you've been a hygienist for 38 years, right?
38 years, nonstop. And
congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Really, that is amazing. You've been a hygienist for 38 years, and almost everybody listening to you on this show is probably 30 and under. So that is just congratulations.
Thank you. And the reason being is because of being creative. I really put my heart and soul in my work. And I am talented, and I stepped out of the box, and I would love to help others do what I've done. That's where my goal is this year, to train and help others grow.
I want you to you throw around a word that on Dentaltown has 210,000 people, and one of the nastiest 4-letter words on Dentaltown is the word holistic. And I think that's so bizarre because when you talk to any dentist one-on-one, he tells you he doesn't trust the American healthcare system. He doesn't want to take a bunch of prescription drugs. He sees that his patients that are over 65, if they're on 10 different prescription medications, are just falling apart and horrible, and that you need to treat your high blood pressure with exercise. You need to treat your cholesterol with exercise. So one-on-one, they're all like, you need to eat right and exercise and sleep well and all natural. But then when you say holistic, natural remedies, whatever, they just have this knee-jerk reaction that that's bad because we're doctors and they're not and whatever. What do you think? What does the word holistic mean to you?
Integrative. I don't like the word holistic because, well, to me, the word holistic means working from your heart, seeing a person that you're working on as a whole person. When I see a patient and I see their hygienic look to them, that they're unkempt and they're not hygienic, I know that their mouth isn't going to look terrific as well. I also know saliva texture. If there's a thickness to the saliva, they may be dehydrated. I could look at the tissue. I'm not a doctor, I'm a hygienist, but I go a step above. If I see the tissue is red and inflamed, it's either caused by bad product, or it could be even systemic. Now, I have a doctor who's an MD who refers specifically to me if they have a high-level C-reactive protein. He's a holistic integrative cardiologist and doctor, and he believes the mouth is very important to the heart. So I'm jumping in. I'm putting a lot in one answer to what you're questioning me, but to me, holistic is working from the heart and seeing the patient, seeing the whole patient, not just a tooth.
I love that. And this is, would you say you're, where on your 38-year journey did you morph into Camellia products and talk about that?
9 years ago, after my book was published, the book called Reversing Gum Disease Naturally, which was published by John Wiley, I hired an agent, and she brought me some camellia oil. From that, I work with oils in hygiene, and I took courses from Dr. Andrew Weil and got certified and transferred it into dental hygiene. And what I noticed when I was massaging this camellia oil, it was whitening teeth as well. So when I found that, I went to an attorney and I got a utility patent on it.
That's the first question they're going to ask you on Shark Tank. Did you get a
I
patent?
know.
And you got a utility patent. Explain what utility patent means versus other types of patents.
Well, there's a design patent. I don't know all the patents, but a utility means I got the patent on the composition of the application of what it does. So, like peroxide is a form of whitening also. So many of these big companies, P&G and Colgate and other companies, patented. They applied for utility, but most of them went to I don't even know what they did. But I went to the composition of the product and what it does.
And what is the composition of the product and what does it do?
It's from a green tea plant. It's the flower of the green tea plant. And it's a seed oil, and it's triple phenol in it and antioxidants. So when I work, I use it in scaling and root planing as well. It desensitizes and it heals gum tissue, as well as it brightens teeth. I won't say it's stark white like a peroxide would do, but I can tell the difference when patients use it or don't.
And it's a beautiful flower. It's a gorgeous flower, the camellia flower.
Right, it's grown in California, in Japan, and China. And the interesting thing is Chanel uses it in all her makeup. And I went into Chanel and by accident, and he was telling me the story. She was in love with a polo player, and that's why she used camellia flower. And he gave her a camellia flower, and that's why she used it in all her products. So
Did
it's
you ever
interesting.
watch the French movie Coco Chanel?
Yeah, I love it. Yes, I loved it.
That's a great movie. I watched that on one of my 15-hour flights to Asia.
Oh,
But it was French. It just had subtitles. I don't think there's a. Did anybody ever dupe an English over?
yeah, I think they did. I saw it. I
Really, there
think
is an English version
I
of that.
think there is. Don't take my word, but you
I
should
would
check.
like to see it because it's hard when you're 53 and you're sitting in the chair and the monitor's 2 feet away from you, the size of an iPad. But she was just a legend. So what is your goal with this? Is this a product that you want dentists and hygienists to sell in their office, or is this
I'd
something?
rather do it in the office than on the shelf because I don't have. By the way, Colgate did take on. The vice president of Colgate knows me and believes in me, and he took the product to test and he added something to it. I was a little leery of Colgate putting it on the shelf. It's a natural product and I don't want to ruin it. Um, I'd rather sell it in the dental office and have it facilitated in hygiene and in uh, the way I work, because it works. And people come back for it. They ask for the product before their appointment. And that's definitely something that's a hit. And I've been watching it for 8 years. I don't throw things out so quickly.
Interesting thing about Colgate is when you like in America, people will say, "Hand me a Kleenex," even though it's not the brand Kleenex.
Right, right.
They'll say, "Make me a Xerox copy of this," even though it might be a Canon
Interesting.
printer. But when you go around the world, most of the world does not have a word for toothpaste. The word is Colgate. And when you go to many countries, the mom will say, "Put Colgate on that," but the kid might have another brand of toothpaste. So I mean, Colgate is it is so huge in the toothpaste business. But you don't want to you don't think it'd be wise to team up
I'm
with
not
your
not ready for Colgate. That's how I
who's
feel.
your buddy over there?
Bob Pierce. You
Bob
know
Pierce.
him? He's research and development.
Bob Pierce. Pearce.
At Pierce.
Pierce. No, I don't know Bob, but that is
He,
a.
He's in New Jersey. They have a research lab in New Jersey.
Yep, been there many times. That is a powerhouse company. I mean, that is huge.
He bought Tom's of Maine. He's the one who facilitated the buying of Tom's of Maine. And the reason is because they had shelf space. That's what turns me off. Everything's business and money. So if you build your numbers like in the stock market, they'll buy you out. They may shut you up also. So that's why I don't know if I'm premature to do it.
Well, I can sum up the entire United States Constitution with money is the answer. What's the question?
Right, right.
I mean, it's just.
You're
I
right.
mean, when you're young and you hear all the propaganda, you believe it when you're 20. But by the
You're right.
time you're 50 and you've gone around the world 50 times, it's money's the answer. What's the question? And Tom's the main. Is that going to backfire on them? Because I've noticed on a lot of websites when people find out. Well, here's what I noticed with the holistic natural medicine crowd, all that kind of stuff, which is all my four children. Is when they see something, it's got to have 5 ingredients or less. And when they start seeing chemicals and things in parentheses and words that they can't even pronounce, it's no longer natural. Now, I'm wondering if Tom's of Maine is going to backfire when they find out big old corporate America owns it, and there's more than 5 ingredients now, and some of those ingredients, unless you're an organic chemist, you're not going to be able to pronunciate. I mean, isn't the true litmus test of natural real
But
ingredients, 5 or less?
they got bought out for $50 million, and he walked away. I don't think they're even producing it. I don't know what's going on there, but I'll tell you the product isn't the same anymore.
Right. It's got other
It's
stuff in it.
got more additives. They added fluoride. As much as these people you think they're holistic, they're not. Money buys them. And in order for him to sell out to Colgate, he had to add fluoride. And there's a big war against fluoride versus non-fluoride. By the way, my product has natural fluorine, and I don't understand why they can't concentrate natural fluorine and make it as strong as fluoride, because fluoride is a bad chemical, and it's unnecessary to the body. But they have fluoride in their natural product, and they added a lot of other stuff that's in it. But I don't want to go negative. There's a lot of other good products out there. My product is pure, and that's why I'm afraid to give it to a major corporation. I don't want to ruin it.
So,
But if I could get it in through the dental field and have them see how patients love it and get a recall system going because of it, so patients will come back more frequently, that's important to me. And it should be important to the field.
well, here's my view. I mean, on fluoride and for dentists, because dentists, they have a couple of knee-jerk reactions. If 20, in my opinion, 27% of American population does not like fluoride. They don't want fluoride in their water. They don't want fluoride in their toothpaste. They're anti-fluoridationists.
Right.
And I know this well because I have been in front of city councils in Phoenix and getting it in the water, and I've heard all this. And our job as dentists, if you say I don't like fluoride, it's our job to motivate you to brush your teeth with something without fluoride in there. I mean, what's the alternative? That you're going to fight with them and they're going to leave and they're not going to have any alternative? I mean,
Right.
if 4 people come in your office, one of them says, I don't want fluoride, then great. Then we need to work with them in some other natural alternative. I mean, our job is to motivate them to take care of themselves.
Right.
And if we can't motivate their mental health to take care of their oral health, we lost the game. I think if I was a dentist and I was coming out with a new toothpaste, last thing I would do is have one with fluoride in it or something. That been there, done that. Colgate, Crest, a dozen toothpaste. I think all natural. I think Tom's of Maine was a great idea originally when it was small and organic and all natural. And if that's what it takes for, I'm looking at my granddaughter. I mean, she's 4. I mean, I may die and she grew up to be a hippie and worship crystals in Sedona, Arizona. And I don't want her to lose her teeth because she was against fluoride. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, so I got to ask you. You said you weren't going to go negative. You're from downtown New York.
I'm from New York. That doesn't stop, and I'm here. I don't know if you could hear the sirens.
I can.
Oh, good.
So my next question is, did you ever clean Trump's teeth? I mean, you've been there.
I wouldn't. I'm bad. You
You
don't
wouldn't
know
clean.
me. I have a lot of conviction. Teeth carry energy, and there's certain energy I don't want to be carried through. I don't want it. Politicians are nothing more than bigger actors, and they're all turning me off right now.
How
All
much?
of them.
How much of everything you see with Trump do you think is just showbiz and
It's all
entertainment and
all
TV?
ego. Ego. That's the problem. And that's not what our country is about. It was about hard work and building up. I hope we don't get the ego involved and break it down. It's wrong. And he's not, we don't need a showman. The one thing I will say, Jerry Lewis turned 90 this year, and I listened to what he says. I think he is a genius, a comedic genius. He says we need a showman up in politics, and I don't know where he's getting that from. I thought he was smarter than that, but
He's in the next town over. I'm in Phoenix. He's retired down in Tucson.
oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that's where the MD Muscular Dystrophy headquarters is, right down the street.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So let me ask you a story. Since I've been doing this 30 years, you've been doing this 38 years. Do you think dentistry is in a better place today than it was 38 years ago when you started? Do you think it's going in the right direction, doing
Yeah,
okay, or in the wrong direction?
it's going into pulling teeth and doing implants. That's where it's going. Big money. Um, Not really working with healing or understanding the body, and it's really turning. And I work with one of the biggest periodontists, but that's where it's going. Um, it needs more help. I know Columbia University is doing research on stem cell regeneration of teeth, even nerve. They're even taking a percentage of nerve and trying to regenerate and make the half-dying nerve more alive instead of root canals. That's where we have to go. We have to go more towards the body's healing rather than uh, cut and sew and pulling teeth and putting a false tooth in.
Do
That's
you
my feeling.
do you think endodontics is kind of unnerving? That was a
Doesn't
joke.
bother.
Get it? That was a pun. Endodontics unnerving. That was just
That's
a horrible joke.
that's cute. I like that, Howard.
So
I I I would rather save a tooth than pull a tooth. That's my feeling. Some people feel, well, root canals. I'll tell you what the holistic field feels. Dentists, not me personally. They feel that root canals cause disease in the body. That if you take a nerve out of a tooth, then the body is fighting something that can hold bacteria. They say that there's bacteria in the tubules that are not totally cleansed, and therefore the body is always fighting something that is there, and it knocks the immune system off, and therefore you can, if you have cancer or another major illness, it doesn't have all the power to fight that illness. I don't believe that. The way they found the research on that was they took a root canal tooth, put it in a rabbit, and the rabbit died. Well, the rabbit will die with a lot of things that are stuck in them anyway, if it's not, it's great. I don't even know how they believe. I fight every day with that. It's a big marketing game. You pull the tooth, you have an implant or a bridge.
I always see those articles, and they're always, it seems like almost always associated with the website Mercola.
Yeah, I know, Dr. Mercola.
And what are your thoughts on him and his website and
I
natural
don't
medicine?
believe it. I'm sorry. I just truthfully feel there was no real science and protocol to make this really a truth. I don't see it. I researched it, and I just think it's another way of marketing big dentistry, and I just don't understand where they're getting it from.
So talk about how you got published.
That was interesting. I went and I bought a house in Southampton, New York, and the first book, I'll show you the book. This is the book, The Hygiene Professional. Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
That book was my first book published, and I started writing 3 chapters, and I sent it out. And because I'm cutting edge, the hygiene professional partner, heaven help I move hygiene to a higher level, they got scared. So they rejected it, and then they accepted it. That's my life.
Who's they? Who's they?
Penwell.
Oh, Penwell. Hold the book up again.
Okay, this book.
Just so they say, yeah, bring it, push it closer to you the other way. Closer to you, Steve. Hygiene Professional, a Partner in Dentistry. The Hygiene Professional, a Partner in Dentistry by Penwell. And what year did that come out?
That I don't even know. I'm getting ancient here. This came out. I'm rewriting it right now because I want to update it.
And by the way, for our international viewers, Penwell is a magazine company. It started with Pennsylvania oil drill wellers, and now they have about 100 magazines, and one of them is the very famous Dental Economics.
Right. I know that. That I know, and they're very successful. Dental Economics, right?
Yes, they. I think Joe Blaze took it from 0 to 100 in my career. I mean, it was kind of a little magazine when I was in dental school, and then they got Joe Blaze from St. Louis to be the editor, and he exploded that thing huge.
Right. So they published it, and it was before Amazon and all the computer, all the advertising for books on the computer and the internet. So it just picked up big when the internet started opening. It is on Amazon right now. And
Now,
go ahead. After that came this book. You see, I give birth a lot.
Reversing Gum Disease Naturally. Now, does the periodontist you work for, did he cringe when he saw that title?
Yes, I put it out on the front, and I don't know where the book went. He loves hate. They all hate me, but they love me, and they love that I'm creative, and they love that I work from my heart because they would love to be me, and they don't. It's so interesting in dentistry how people really are all good. It's just they don't know how in their mind they can make more money by saving teeth, I feel. They just don't get it. And I could show them. People want to trust, and they don't want to lose what's natural to them.
So tell us, how do you, because when dentists see, something flying around Facebook, it says reversing gum disease naturally, they probably just think, oh my God, that's crazy. But they don't read it. They're just turned off by the headline. That's why newspapers, if you look at newspapers, 50% of the space is their ads, which pays for everything. The other half half of it is the title of the article, and the other half is actually the content. So a newspaper is only 25% is actually the content, because the titles are so important. Because when you're flipping through the newspaper, you may see something about Syria and say, I'm burned out on Syria. You might flip the next deal. It's Putin, and you're like, you don't care. Then you see something reversing gum disease naturally, and someone with gum disease might say, oh, I want to read that. But a dentist might have the opposite reaction, say, oh, that's bullshit, and not even read it. So how do you reverse gum disease naturally?
Well, hygiene is an important factor, and you can cut gums and you can do surgery all you want, but if you don't teach the patient maintenance and hygiene, it's going to fail. And I don't understand why they don't take the time to make a certain section of their practice more hygienic for the good of their work. I bring the dentist new patients. That's why I'm welcomed into the office. The value of a new patient's worth a lot more than paying me as a hygienist. And I bring a lot of new patients to them. I brought more than $250,000 to each dentist I've been with. And I can't say that for many hygienists who work. I mean, they're busy 9 to 5.
Well, I think you should get a retirement home in Phoenix and come be my hygienist during those brutal winters in Manhattan, where I've been walking down those streets in February, and those cold Arctic winds almost killed me. Why aren't you my hygienist November, December, January, and February in sunny Phoenix, Arizona?
I don't know, because my children are here. And
You're
I have a hook to being annoyed by them forever.
Well, but I don't want to throw my hygienist under a bridge, but it blows my mind when, they'll see a kid that's 5 who's never flossed his teeth once in his life, and they'll spend that 30 minutes and they'll scale, and then they'll polish, and they'll floss, and they'll give a fluoride treatment, and they'll do all these things, and I think, wouldn't it have been more productive if you just spent that half hour like a piano lesson and handed him a toothbrush and
Absolutely.
saw how he brushed his
You
teeth
are
and
right
corrected that?
on. You're right on. That's where the field is missing the link.
I know. And here's a kid who's never flossed his teeth in his life. He goes in and sees a hygienist and leaves, and he's still never flossed teeth. And the hygienist thinks that what she's going to do to that kid once or twice a year is more important than what he's going to do to himself
Absolutely
every
wrong.
single day.
Right.
And it's
But that's
completely
why I
backwards.
wrote this book for the public. The book has a lot of hygiene in it. And when I treat a patient, I give them a toothbrush. But what I do is I work with the toothbrush. I massage the tissue so it tightens in a gentle fashion with my oils. And so I use it as an instrument. And then I teach them at the end how they should massage the gum tissue and then brush. I make sure that they get it and feel it. And I think that's so important. And brushing and flossing is just a quick way of getting a patient in and out. There's irrigators, there's all kinds of products needed for different reasons, and no one's going into it enough. And that's why people are losing their teeth, especially implant cases. So I think it's important that I teach, I really do, so that I can create programs all over and not just be in Phoenix. I could help everywhere.
Well,
I'm too old to just work. I really am. I am 71 years old. I'm probably older than you, Howard. And
you
I don't have gray. Look at my hair. I'm all me. This is like weird.
this is all my hair too. That is all natural. Everybody thinks I'm wearing a skin wig, but it's actually my skin. Well, the biggest way to reach the most number of dentists and hygienists and assistants in the world is the Dental Town. We put up 350 online CE courses that you can watch on your iPhone, your Samsung, your iPad, your computer. They've been viewed over 550,000 times
Wow.
from pretty much every. I mean, they'd be watching it in Namibia. They'd be watching it in
Really?
Zimbabwe, India. I mean, countries that you've never heard of before. I mean, me and Ryan sometimes see countries, and we literally have to map quest. Where the hell's that? And did you know what were the 2 countries inside of South Africa? Lesotho and Lesotho is a country site of South Africa, and the other one was what was it? Lesotho and Swaziland.
Wow.
If you put this course on Dental Town, they'd be
I
watching it
would
on their
love to
iPhone
do it. You know what I
in
should do?
Zimbabwe,
I will do it.
and it's great
What do
leverage.
you do? You translate it into languages?
You know what? When I started lecturing around the world in like 1990, a lot of countries you'd had to have a translator. But basically, every mom in the last generation knew if a kid was going to be a doctor, dentist, lawyer, successful, whatever, they needed to learn English. And now, pretty much any country you go to in the world, the majority of the dentists, they pretty much all can read English. And then the next smaller group is they can understand English, and then
Right.
a smaller group might be, can I speak English back? It's definitely 2 parts of the brain because I got a lot of friends in Arizona that are first or second generation Hispanic, and they say I can't speak Spanish, but I can understand my grandmother. And I used to think, well, how the hell can you understand your grandmother fluently but not say it back? But it's obviously 2 different parts of the brain.
You want to hear something? We
Yeah.
understand animals. So that's the other part. That's why we love them so much. Animal, we could read an animal, and animals read us without words. And I love that. I mean, I communicate with I have 2 cats. I communicate with them.
See, I knew I loved you. I'm a cat person. I got 2 cats too. Don't you think cat people are just better people than dog people?
We're a lot of,
I mean,
we're
can we
very,
just say that, Ryan? Can we just piss off half our podcast listeners
you
right
know what
now?
I think? I think we're very empathic. They're very spiritual animals. Dogs are like controlled. They'll do this and they'll do that. Just, they just listen better than cats. But
Well, you're talking to right now. You're talking to probably 8,000 people, and most of the emails I get, about 99%, they're either juniors and seniors in dental school or hygiene school, or they've been out for 5 years. Give them lessons from someone who's been doing this 38 years on hygiene prevention, because I agree with you 100%. I remember seeing studies that showed identical twins who needed a bypass, and one twin didn't have medical insurance and didn't get the bypass, but stopped smoking, lost weight, and started exercising. His twin brother got the bypass, but didn't change his behavior, kept smoking, kept not exercising, kept being fat. And the person who didn't get the $100,000 bypass lived 3.5 years longer.
wow,
And in our generation back in the day, how many thousands of people did I see in the 80s and the 90s that got 4 quadrants of root plane curettage by the periodontist, got all sewed up, fixed up, whatever, but did not change their behavior and started brushing and flossing and getting all into home care. And 3 years later, they're right back to square one.
absolutely.
And that's why so many people right now, when they see a 6 millimeter pocket on some 3-rooted molars, just say, you know what, let's just pull it and put titanium, because they've lost the drive to engage this person
Absolutely.
and say, let's spend some quality time and let's engage this person to save their teeth. I mean, you got to change your behavior. You're not going to reduce heart disease if you're sitting there smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer, eating Doritos at the bar. I mean, you're going to have to change your behavior. You just can't take a pill and be healthy. So take it away. How should
What I
they?
feel
What
is
should the hygiene department
schools,
look like?
it has to start in the schools too. They don't put emphasis in hygiene home care. They're doing clinical instruction, which isn't always right, as from what I know, because I'm out there long enough to know that your experience is far greater than the basis. You need a basis, but you have to take it from there and grow. Um, they have to spend more time in the universities because people who graduate feel I learned it all, I'm licensed now, and they don't think out of the box. They don't, and hygienists are employed, so they're told, well, you have a half hour of time, and you got to do all this, and you got to scale, and then you got to do. You have to outline what's needed in dentistry. You have to take X-rays. That's a lot in a short period of time. So there needs to be a time allocated for hygiene home care and possibly a procedure code with products. And that's what I would love to do, help that aspect of dentistry grow. It's not just a money-making cleanup thing. It's about really connecting the whole body because that part of the body, teeth are minerals, but the gum tissue that holds all that bacteria and food can transfer to the heart. And yes, there is a correlation between gum disease and heart disease. And not only gum disease and heart disease, but disease of other organs. So it's very important. And I think it needs to start in the schools and needs to be in the dental office, but it needs to be instructed by the dentist and maybe a system set up where they can see that there's value to it.
I think product is a big part of motivation to do their oral routine. I noticed, I grew up with 5 sisters, and I was married before. I saw how when they get the products. I remember my sisters back then. Clinique was the big thing, and they would
Right.
go through all these steps and whatever. And I used to sit there as a boy thinking, well, you know what? If all these steps is what motivates you to want to wash your face before you go to bed, power to Clinique. Because I used to think there and be skeptical, thinking, I don't really know if Clinique's doing
Interesting.
anything, but it's definitely got you standing in front of a mirror, going through a ritual, a deal. And that's why when that crust big story hit, remember they had those little blue food dye particles in there, and some of the dentists were finding them in the mouth. Remember that
Yeah,
deal where,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
and then it exploded. It actually exploded on Dental Town. That's where it
Oh,
was initially.
really?
Yeah, that was one of the that was probably the finest journalistic moment of Dental Town. Um, uh, that was posted on Dental Town, and then it went mainstream, and then it went viral, and then Crest eventually said, we'll take it out. But I had a bad feeling about that because I thought, well, you know what? Maybe if you're a 5-year-old boy with a burger hanging out of your nose and your hair matted up and you've worn the same shirt 3 days, maybe that toothpaste having blue sparkles and being in something that looks like a dinosaur or a shark, maybe that's what got the kid to brush in the first place.
Well, motivate, that's what sweetened toothpaste is motivational. That's why they sweetened it. I have grandchildren too. I have two 11-year-old twins and a 10-year-old now and a 5-year-old granddaughter. And I created ToothSticks, not to I don't know if I have any. Well, they're twisted sticks that are very motivational because the children like hearing the click of the stick and the material comes through the brush, and it's all my camellia oil, but it's like a gel, so you don't have to. And I love it because it's not something that you're sticking on the top of a brush and spilling it all over the place. And it's very motivational. You don't have to sweeten toothpaste. I have flavors in there, but you don't have to put sugar, sparkles. By the way, I was the one who took the color out of plaques that Colgate owned. I stood up in front of 1,000 people in New York City, and I raised my hand I was invited there. I was given free stock by Reuben Mark, who was the CEO then. And I said, can you take the dye out of plaques like you did out of your hands wart? They took it out of some hand lotion. I said, why is it in a mouthwash? You know, they put dye in, I'm rambling, but I have so much in my head. They put dye in mouthwash so you could sell the product. Oh, blue. That means crystal clear, like green, mint. You know, the mind goes to mint. Red was with Lavorus. Remember Lavorus?
Sure.
That was more medicinal for some reason. Now we have, to me, that's why I just don't want to get ruined by a major corporation. I'm not bought by big money. I'm not living my life like that. I'm bought in, I feel that creativity and development is very important. But if I'm going to ruin my own creativity, then that's bad for me. I won't do that.
Well, you know, it's sad because I feel that the young kids are more likely to think binomial. Yes, right. Yes, no, left, right, up, down, forward, back. And as you get older and older and older and older, you realize everything's multifactorial. I remember sitting in some think tank sessions before, and researchers saying, you know, when we don't have alcohol in this mouthwash, the patient says it's flat, it's not doing anything, it's dull.
Right.
And then they put alcohol in there, and they go zinc. Like, and I fall for that. I mean, I still use Listerine, and you swish that stuff, God, your eyes burn and water, and you put a swish in that, and you try to make it all the way downstairs, you know, and put on your shoes and socks before you spit it out. But you just think that burning, singeing, searing feeling is what's killing all the bugs. So, I mean, I'm
not just about bacteria, though.
mm-hmm.
If you look at your skin and you cleanse your skin with herbs or natural products, you don't need alcohol to kill bacteria on your skin. You need cleansing, you need water. I have my own mouthwash. A part of my camellia oil product is in ToothSticks and mouthwash. I will not add alcohol. There are natural ingredients that does a better job than alcohol, and a lot of alcoholics drink mouthwash. Then
I
you
know. Yeah, I
all
know that. When I was in dental school, one of my friends was telling me that in back in the day they could not sell alcohol on a Sunday. One of those what they call blue laws. So that
yes,
was the day you're supposed to go to church. So
right,
there was
right,
no alcohol sold from the Saturday night before like midnight till like noon. And they said between like 6 a.m. to noon, the local Walgreens people, the drunks would walk by and they'd take the Listerine off the shelf, douse the whole bottle, and put it back. And if Walgreens didn't have someone standing by the Listerine, by the time noon came around, they might have 8 empty bottles of Listerine because it's
right.
27% alcohol. That was
Wow.
just amazing. But
Well,
I tried it, but I went back to Grey Goose.
it's not
Tried
just
swallowing the Listerine.
green juice does this. It does better than Listerine. The alcohol is a shelf life thing also. That's why they put it in there. Because you're putting these products on the shelf for God knows how long, 6 months to a year. You got to put a preservative or something in it. And the alcohol in it helps preserve the product. That's another reason I don't want to put it on the shelf. I just don't want to do it.
You remember the other blow up this year, or maybe it was last year, where one of the mouthwash companies was saying, you switch to this for 60 seconds, you don't need to floss. You remember
That's
that one?
ridiculous. Yeah, I hear a lot. I listen to commercials. I feel like saying this is how much money is going beyond words that don't even have truth. So much money behind advertising, and they have to repetitively say these words so it goes in your head, no one's thinking, and they absorb it and buy it. And that's why hygiene home care needs to be a program. It really does. And maybe before I leave this planet, it'll happen. I would like to see it.
Why don't you put that hygiene program on Dental Town?
I will. I'll do that.
That way they can be watching this on their iPhone in India, China, and Brazil.
Okay, we'll do that.
So some more hygiene questions. You like the standard brush, or do you like electric toothbrushes?
If patients know how to use electric brush, it could be good. But most of them don't know what they're doing. The instructions in the brush is awful. Sonicare came into dentistry by giving everyone $25 a brush. Their marketing was fabulous, and I'm getting $25. It has a high rad percentage, more so than any other electric brush. People ripping their gums with electric brushes because they don't know how to use it. No one's showing them what to do. You have to shimmy even an electric brush. You have to control it. They took it from a skin brush. You know the round skin brushes? Mm-hmm. Oral-B took it from a skin brush. If you held that in one spot or ripped your face, pulled it on your skin, you'd have holes in your face. They're doing it to their gum tissue. Gum tissue is very thin and fragile. So that's where I'm against electric brushes. That's why I give out a manual brush so that they can use their own energy first. And then if they use electric brushes, I make them bring it in, and I show them how to use that effectively.
What manual brush do you like?
I have my own.
But where can they get that? Because I just went to CameliaProducts.com. That's not, I didn't, what website? What is your website? You got ToothFairyShow.com. You got CameliaProducts.com. Where could I see this brush right now?
It should be under my products. CameliaDentalCare.com has product page, and I don't know if my toothbrushes are. I just reworked the commerce websites. I don't know if they even put it up yet. It was just reworked.
Here, Ryan, pull it up on my phone. So what are y'all? It's Camellia Dental Products. So Camellia, CAMELLIA, dentalcare.com. CameliaDentalCare.com. What do you have all on there?
I have my ToothSticks, which are the brush one-piece unit for children and adults. It whitens and cleans teeth. In between, it's great for braces too. I have my AM/PM spray. Then I have Tooth Aid, which is the sprays and the oil. And I have my mouthwash, which is new. And I'm working on a toothpaste.
And you have your book, Reversing Gum Disease Naturally. And by the way, I just want to point out to my homies, just in case there's any cynical bastards out there, there's no money changed hand. I'm not interviewing her because this isn't a sponsored program. All my guests are free. If a guest wants paid money, I don't want to talk to them. My show's free. My guests are free. I called Sandra. She did not call me. But Sandra, I want to tell you another thing about that reversing gum disease naturally. We started an audiobooks program on Downtown because when you go to Amazon's numbers, Jeff Bezos will tell you he wasted $1 billion by building a machine that'll do a book to print. So instead of having all these inventories of printing books 1,000 at a time or whatever, you just order a book on Amazon and then just print that book and then ship it. It's a print. But he says by the time it took him like 10 years to figure this whole thing out, by the time he figured out it said it didn't matter because the whole market went to audiobooks, ebooks, Kindle, the whole 9 yards. So Dentaltown has that now. So if you sat down like on Skype and just read your book, Reversing Gum Disease Naturally, you could put that book on Dentaltown as an audiobook. And then when people have their Samsung And what the audiobooks are also, they're huge, is when you and I were little, the reason none of our friends would read books because you had to sit down in a chair and just read a book. But now it's multitasking. So now they're listening to a book while they commute to work or ride a stationary bike or mow the yard or do. I've got a lot of friends here in the city that say they listen to 4 of my podcasts a week, and they do it Saturday morning because Saturday from 8 to noon is when they clean up all their house, they do all their laundry, they go do all their shopping, and that 4 hours is when they listen to podcasts while they're doing homework. So if you did that reversing gum disease naturally in an audiobook on Dentaltown, you'd pick up several thousand more listeners to your message.
Okay, sure. I'd love to do that.
And you could do it here. You could film that here in Phoenix when you're working for me in the winter in Phoenix while your children go fend for themselves and have that 3 month.
They never fend for themselves. It would be a miracle.
So what do you think about water picks, hydrofloss? What do you think about that?
I'm a big lover of water picks because I have one in both houses. I have a house in Southampton and Manhattan. If I didn't use it, my bridges would fail. Now you're thinking, like floss, threaders, which was big with bridges. It's very difficult when you're in a rush to take a threader and put the floss through. And floss is only a piece of string. It doesn't really cleanse the whole circumference and the whole area. Using an irrigator properly, I don't want to use the word water pick because that's a trade name, but using an irrigator properly with, I have some patients using my oil. I believe in food grade peroxide, a half a cap in the water pick. Or the irrigator. Here I slipped. you know, all these names that really get you. I believe that it's the answer to cleansing the mouth. I love it. I love it. It gets rid of a lot of food and particles that floss doesn't get. And it gets rid of a lot of bacteria that's hiding under the gum tissue, especially when you have implants and bridges and crowns. Because crowns create an inflammation around the whole circumference, not just in between teeth. You can't reach floss at the bifurcation, at the center of the tooth.
So so talk about the Tooth Fairy show, because that's how I originally knew you. The Tooth Fairy show. Talk about that.
The Tooth Fairy show came upon, it like hit me like a snowball. I was walking down the street in Manhattan, and a guy comes up to me and he says, "You belong on TV." I said, "What?" I get that a lot. A lot of weird people. And I'm looking at him. He says, "My friend's starting cable, so you just go in front of the camera and do it." Now, you can't, in our profession, and label yourself more than you are because, heaven help, they'll come after you. So I took I got in front of the camera. I took the name The Tooth Fairy Show, which gave me credibility. I made my own wings out of lace, and I learned how to be a ventriloquist, and I got puppets from the Muppet Guy, and I educated children because the mind goes to children when you say tooth fairy, even though I was working on adults. So here I am educating the children, and then that was a hit, by the way. It was in the beginning of development.
What years was this? You did about 700. You did about 1,000 shows.
1989 I started.
1989 to when?
I did it probably to 2003, 4. I have a lot of the shows on YouTube.
Where are all these shows?
Some are on YouTube. I had one picked up in England, and they paid me $500 a minute for my show. I invited pedodontist on with me, so I would be entertaining the children, and they were learning from me how to motivate. Motivation's everything in every aspect of what we do. And then I went on. I did further than that. I did a 1-800-Tooth Fairy show where people called me live. That was the biggest hit because you have people walking the street fearful of dentists and fearful of asking questions when they're in a dental chair and worrying about I don't have enough money and blah blah blah, and it goes on and on. And that's a show I'd like to redo and bring that to national TV. Um, I think it's greatly needed for dentistry because there are many people who would go into denial, would rather lose their teeth, and walking around with infection, and they don't even know why they're dying. It could be their mouth the cause of their death. The third show I did was the mouth connected to the body, which was very integrative. I invited doctors on the show, and I interviewed them the importance of dental care in medicine, and that was a good show too.
And
So
and you also got a video, Sandra Senzon, Botanical Products Investors. Botanical. I've never heard of the term botanical products. That just means products made out of herbs and spices and plants. No
right,
animals. Is that
no
what that means?
animal, right?
Is
No
that what that
animal.
means?
Yes. Camellia flower is from the green tea plant, the flower of the green tea plant, and it's a botanical. There are a lot of botanicals out there. It's plant food. Camellia, my product is really a food. It's sold as whatchamacallit, salad dressing in Japan. They use it as an expensive salad dressing. It's an expensive oil, and it's a natural thin oil. It's really beautiful. It has no smell or odor, and I flavor it with peppermint oil, and then I have some lavender oil, and I have some coconut oil, and I tried many different flavors. I had even chocolate, organic chocolate, but I
Do
took
you,
that
you
out.
have a botanical tooth whitener too? What is that?
That's my same product. That's the oil. It
The
does.
oil is also a whitener.
Yeah, it's also a whitener. Yes.
But will it
Aside,
grow hair if I put it on my head?
I might do that.
Should we do an experiment? We'll just rub it on the right side of my head and see, and not the left, to see if it works. So, hey, if you need are you gonna take if you go to Shark Tank, are you gonna do it by yourself? Are you gonna take anybody with you? Are you gonna take a
Take
dentist?
my grandchildren for sure, because I am not wearing wings anymore. I was on Oprah. I was on Fox 5 News with Frank Field. I walked into Channel 5, Fox 5 News in wings, real wings, like Michael in the movie. He says, "What did I do? Die and go to heaven?" I said to myself, "I don't know. I don't even know if he's alive right now." He was so
So
stiff.
tell us about the Oprah show. Tell us about that.
Or
How'd that happen?
The Oprah show
Where was
really,
that filmed? Chicago?
it was in Chicago. They picked me up in New York. I mean, they flew me to Chicago, and they stayed at the Omni Hotel. Dr. Oz was on that show. He wasn't in yet. He wasn't famous yet. He was just, she has proteges, Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, not even a doctor, but whatever he is. And,
Dr. Phil?
yeah, he's not a real doctor.
Right. Do you like Dr. Oz? He's in your backyard. Dr. Oz is right up the street from you.
I met him years ago, and he whispered in my ear, "I'm going to be famous one day." He has projection ability. He saw himself where he wanted to be, and he got there. And Oprah pointed her magic golden thumb and said, "You're going to be there."
Did you agree? Do you like Dr. Oz's information
I
in
don't like.
regards to dentistry?
I love that he takes complexity and simplifies it. I love it. I love that he steps out of the box and makes people understand what science is all about, because it's dry, it's boring, and it's fearful for people. He takes the fear out of it, and I think that's fabulous. For a surgeon to be able to step out and do that, that's very spiritual. It's wonderful. His ego is getting a little out of whack. He's getting famous, and that ruins the person.
The only thing I want to say about Dr. Phil, I mean, when dentists say, he said this and they don't agree. Well, first of all, I mean, I've been on Dental Town 3-4 hours a day since 1998, and I swear to God, you couldn't get two dentists to agree that today is Tuesday. I mean, they don't agree on anything. That's just the human condition. So when someone dentist says they didn't agree with something Dr. Phil says, I mean, should I'll show you 1,000 things that 10,000 dentists don't
Yeah.
agree with. You know what I mean? I mean, so that doesn't mean anything. But I did meet some dentists when I was at the dental school. I forget what dental school, the one downtown. Is it Columbia or what's the dental? New York's
There's
got a couple of.
NYU, Columbia University.
Yeah, I forgot if I was at NYU or Columbia or whatever, but I was talking to some of the kids, and some of the kids actually knew him. I talked to two guys that actually knew him intimately, and they just thought he was just the greatest guy in the world. So,
I think he's a good guy. I think he's helping people a lot.
yeah.
And he's helping himself also, but he's a surgeon. He doesn't need money. He makes plenty of money. I think he's doing a good job. I respect what he's doing. It's not easy. I'm sure there are doctors who are looking at him and saying, "Oh my, forget the dentist. What about his profession? What are you doing? So you making a joke out of medicine? Even what I'm doing, with reversing gum. What are you doing? I mean, come on, think bigger."
Well, I got to tell you something about medicine. Like right now we're in the middle of a huge election, and I mean the bottom line is the data I see, only 11% of Americans approve of Congress. So we basically have a system where 89% of Americans don't even like the system. And remember, in democracy, Mussolini and Hitler were both democratically elected. You know what I mean? And I think the same thing in medicine. I mean, when you listen to your patients talk about the healthcare system, nobody has anything nice to say about it. I mean, they say I had a bump and I went down to the hospital, and within like 3 minutes they took an MRI. They billed me
Right.
$1,800. My insurance only paid $1,000. I couldn't even leave till I gave them $900, and then some doctor walked in and said, "Oh no, that's just a fat lobule. You're fine. You don't need nothing." And then well, do I need to X-ray it? And they go, and the doctor says no, and she says, well, they already took an X-ray. They just took me through put me in a CAT scan and irradiated my. So the bottom line is, when you listen to people, they have nothing good to say about democracy or the healthcare system, and the healthcare system is the biggest part of our economy. I mean, it's 17% of the economy, which means out of every dollar spent in America, 17 cents goes to healthcare. So these guys like Dr. Phil, they're the big, they're some of the biggest. I mean, Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz. These are some of the biggest spokespeople for the biggest part of the industry.
I agree,
And
it's positive. It's not negative. It's positive energy, and we need a dentist. I mean, I'd like to start doing TV again because I have a lot to say in a positive way. There's too much negativity in dentistry, too. The noise, the pain, the dollars, the this, the that. Let's make it fun, I'd like to be Dr. Oz. I'd like to be the tooth fairy out there before I...
See, I'm not going to do a TV show because my mother told me I had a face for radio. So I'm sticking to these podcasts. But hey, I just want to tell you, I called you. You didn't call me. I think you're amazing. I've been a fan of yours. I think since that late. I think that show, '89 to 2003. I've been following you for decades. I think you're an amazing person. I think you're a wonderful person. I love your energy. I love I just love everything about you. And I just want to tell you, Sandra, thank you so much today in your busy life to spend an hour with me today on my podcast show.
And thank you. Love from the Tooth Fairy.
All right. Thank you. Love right back. And good luck on Shark Tank. And if you need any moral support, I'll meet you there on the show. I think I'll be your cheerleading section, pumping you up before you walk down the aisle. Okay. Bye-bye.